To quote my favorite spider, salutations, and welcome to episode 8, I think, of Hell If We Know. I'm Jonathan, and Chris is on his way to your ears, I guess, and this is a really great episode. And I don't have a whole lot to say about it because there's a fly in the room and it's really bugging me, so I'm trying to get out of here. It's bugging me, get it? I didn't realize I did that. But yeah, I'm trying to get out of here, so that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to let the episode speak for itself, and I really hope you enjoy it. Let us know what you think on all the social medias and stuff. That's all. Bye.
Okay, so the Charlottesville stuff happened 2 weeks ago now, but we didn't do an episode last weekend, so we didn't get to talk about it. Obviously, I think we probably all agree, Nazis, but that's not exactly what this is about. This is about, I'm not a Nazi sympathizer, but...
Good way to start a sentence. Sort of like your father saying, I still love you, but...
I still love you, but I'm not a Nazi sympathizer, but they all have such nice haircuts. They're all so clean cut, all of their hair goes in the same direction. There's not a hair out of place. Right. And when I looked at those photos of these angry Nazis with tiki torches, angrily shouting what did they say? Blood and soil and the Jews will not replace us and all this stuff. I'm I hate your words, but man, that haircut is so nice. And so do you know what I did? I went to this new barber shop that was recommended to me recently, and I got a new haircut, which you can't see now because I haven't really done anything with it. But I got a new haircut that looks a lot like a Nazi haircut.
Did you know that picture that's been going around the internet? Is this your employee or whatever? Did you print that out and bring it to the barber? This is what I want.
And so as I was looking up so I don't have a great hairline, so I was looking up.
It's pretty solid. I don't know, man. It looks good.
I was looking up haircuts for men with bad hairlines. And one of the first photos that came up was Joseph Stalin. And I was I was God, why do all the worst people in history have the best hair? And I can't show the barber a picture of Joseph Stalin and be can you please give me this haircut? Right. Because she's going to be that's Joseph Stalin. Right. But you know what? I found somebody who had a similar haircut who wasn't Joseph Stalin, and
good.
It worked out just fine. I got I don't need to explain it to you.
You got the Stalin,
it's fine.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, so I got the Stalin cut, the Stalin do.
That's good, and now all of our listeners will know that, so that's cool. Have you even seen my hairline though? You want to talk about a bad hairline? Look at that. It's like a widow's peak, but it's not even symmetrical.
Mine is it looks like a macaroni.
Yeah, but it's smooth. Mine's got little jaggedies in it. See?
Well, you're a hat guy anyway, so it's not a big deal.
That's true. That solves every problem.
It also might have been the reason for your problem. Maybe hats wear away your hair.
Yeah, that's what because my hair is also super thin, and that's one thing people tell me is because you wear hats all the time. And I don't know science, but that doesn't seem right. But I guess because I don't know science, it could be right.
Yeah, definitely seems plausible.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because I'm not gonna stop wearing hats, and it gives me even more reason to wear hats. It's a symbiotic relationship of decay. Then
it's not symbiotic, then, isn't it? What's the opposite of symbiosis?
Yeah, I don't know. But they're both working together. It's just they're both working together to ruin my life
for an evil cause.
Yeah, it's hairs and hats are both against Jonathan. So for them, it's symbiotic.
Right. Or it's it's like Jafar and his little minion in Aladdin. Yeah. Iago, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Isn't there's some famous character in one of those classic stories. His name is Iago, isn't he? A pirate or something.
Oh, it's a Shakespeare play. It's a Shakespeare play.
You're right.
It's he doesn't play a big role. Is it Hamlet maybe?
That sounds right to me.
No.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't know, maybe.
Macbeth.
Yeah, I'm right.
Macbeth, isn't it? Okay. Yeah.
Oh, could have been Macbeth.
I always get those two mixed up.
It's been a while since I've been to school, but
right. We'll probably take this part out so that people still think we're literate.
Yeah, maybe.
Just the idea that we're talking we've provided evidence that we have read Shakespeare even if we didn't pay attention. So that's kind of good, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's right.
Cool.
Another thing I wanted to sort of a resolution that I wanted to pose, and I wanted to get your opinion on it. The resolution is narwhals are not real.
Tell me more.
Here's my evidence. Narwhals are not real because Nobody has ever seen one. I've been to zoos and aquariums across the world, literally in 3 different continents in many, many countries. None of them house narwhals. Besides that, they just seem very improbable to exist. Like the whole unicorn horn thing. I mean, everybody knows unicorns aren't real. There's absolutely no way narwhals can be real. What do they do with their long thing other than just like flaunt it?
I think they break ice because they live in such extreme climates. Like they live only where there's like lots of ice everywhere. And I think they're mammals. So
okay, where's that? In like the North Pole where Santa Claus lives? Yeah, okay.
Good point. You might be right about this. I'm not prepared to like pass out as a resolution, but I'm not prepared to resolve that they do exist either. I don't even know anybody who's seen a narwhal. Yeah, but you know like 5 or 6 people.
Well, but that's 100% success rate in a small sample size, granted. But it's still, I don't know anybody who has seen a narwhal, and the people that I've talked to have been to even more zoos and aquariums around the world.
That's true. Statistically, narwhals don't exist.
And if narwhals do live in, okay, so I looked it up. They're supposed to live in like northern Canada and Greenland and like places like that. But if narwhals do exist, like we've seen some other animals from around those areas that, like you've seen polar bears before many times, in zoos and aquariums, and they come from the same region. So like, why couldn't you just pick up a narwhal while you're out polar bear catching?
That's true. That's actually.
I've seen beluga whales. I've seen great white sharks.
Yeah. You're right, man. You know who we need to ask about this?
Who?
Cameron from Manitoba or whatever his name
Manitoba.
is. Manitoba, yeah. Cameron from Manitoba would know.
That's a good point. But see, I know many other Canadians.
Yeah.
And nobody has seen a narwhal in captivity or in real life.
You might be underestimating Cameron. Either that or you're absolutely right, and Cameron will agree with us that narwhals don't exist. Are you still friends with him on Facebook?
Was I ever friends with him on Facebook?
I thought either you or Young Buck was. I can't remember which one of y'all it was.
I feel like I remember looking for him and not finding him because we didn't remember his last name.
Oh, yeah. That's true. Did he ever even tell us his last name? What if he doesn't exist? Or what if he's a narwhal and he took human form
no.
And that's why we've never seen narwhals, is because they're like the lizard people.
They are. Where do they hide their giant tusk, though?
They like swoop back into the forehead. That's gotta be it.
Oh, it's retractable?
Yeah, I mean, like, if we're already working under the presumption that they can shift the rest of their body into a human form.
Yeah, okay. Then I guess it's not a far cry from reality then.
Right. Yeah. So that's what I'm ready to resolve. If you want to resolve that.
Okay. Narwhals are the new lizard people. I can get behind that.
Okay. Word. That was good teamwork.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks for that. Now I feel a lot better. It's been eating away at me all week, so thank you for that.
Cool. And now the world will know too, so that's cool.
Yeah. Anyway, what's been new with you this week? Or the past couple weeks?
Man, one thing that's new right now is that I kind of got a poo, but I'm going to see, I'm going to write that one out and see where we get with it.
Okay.
Hopefully it won't be a problem later, but if it does become a problem, you'll understand.
I will understand.
Let's see. New in general. Well, I moved to Athens like a month ago.
Yeah. I think we've talked since then, yeah.
Yeah, I think we have. We recorded one episode, and I'm actually going to go poop, but I will finish telling you what's new in like 5 minutes.
If you're prairie dog, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Not even going to bring my phone so that I won't get too distracted.
Oh, nice. John the Phenomenon going to let loose a Leo Brown boy in the toilet. I was listening to an episode of Joe Rogan's podcast the other day, and one of his guests did the same thing that Jonathan just did, which is they were in the middle of an enticing conversation, and all of a sudden he said, "I gotta poop." Come take my hand, Barbara. You got me rocking and rolling, rocking and a real Barbara. So that's nice to wake up to. To order something for me, and then to just like have it arrive at my door in a couple of days. I just think like, mate, what if she orders the wrong thing and I've wasted money? I have been just talking up a storm the past 5 minutes. That was a fast poop, by the way.
Yeah, I told you I was gonna leave my phone so I didn't get distracted. This was like, I'm on the clock right now. Let me get the job done and return to my duties.
So duties, nice one. So it was more of a stool rather than a poop.
Oh, exactly. That's a brilliant way of putting it. Very concise. So yeah, you were talking about Amazon.
I was having a good old time just having all these thoughts in my brain come out. You can definitely listen to that on the editing part.
I look forward to that.
I was talking about how voice assistants suck. Like, I have Google on my phone that can answer a bunch of questions, and I have the Amazon Echo here, and like both of them do like a couple things really well, but like I still need to pick up my phone to do something most of the time. How like is Siri? I ditched the iPhone like 2 years ago. Is Siri like much better now?
Honestly, I don't use Siri a whole lot, like at all.
Yeah.
It's like she might be, but I mean, I think for me, honestly, it was never that much quicker to say like, "Hey Siri, how do I do this or this?" Than to just type it into the internet myself.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know. Like I only really used Siri when it was new because then I was like, "Oh wow, this is so neat." It wasn't actually like a convenience thing.
Right. Yeah. When I used Siri, the biggest thing that I used her for was like, "Hey Siri, find me an X near me." Like where can I get ice cream near me or something like that. Like that was very helpful.
Yeah. Or if like your friend left their phone on the desk, you could pick it up and to be like, "Hey Siri, call me dummy dumb butt poo poo face."
Yeah.
And then Siri would be like, "Oh, I'll call you dummy dumb butt poo poo face from now on." And then like a year later, they'd be on their phone like, "Oh Siri, where's this?" And they'd be like, "Searching the web for blah 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 dummy dumb butt poo poo face." And then it's the perfect crime.
Yeah, and that nobody knows who it was because you can't be like, "Hey Siri,
exactly,
who told you to call me dummy dumb butt poopy face?" And
I've sworn her to secrecy, man.
You know what's ironic? I think this is irony. Tell me if this is irony. Hipsters have really clouded my definition of irony. Like, I can tell you the 3 types of irony and, like, point it out in stories, but when I'm talking about irony in real life, I'm like, wait, is that actually irony? Okay, this is what I think is ironic. Yeah. There are lots of words for alias, such as moniker and nickname. Pseudonym. Yeah. So there's at least 4 right there that I just thought of. Is that irony that there are 4 different words for something that means something that has different words for it?
That's gotta be irony, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty bad at irony for like the same reason you just described, but like that feels like it's gotta be ironic.
Probably. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it sure is.
Yeah. We should have just said it, and then we would have further clouded. If we're wrong, we would have further clouded people's judgment because they would have thought we were right.
Yeah.
It's close enough that like only the really discerning people would have ever been like, but since we brought it up as a question, people are gonna be like, I don't know, maybe, and like the people that are only kind of discerning will be like,
Yeah. No, we're totally right. Maybe just pretend we never said that beginning part. Yeah, we're right. That's irony.
We're right. Good. Glad we established that so firmly.
Yeah, me too. Okay, are we doing this or what?
Yeah, let's do this.
Okay. You have no idea what the topic is going to be about this week, do you?
No clue. You said, let me tell you a Bible story, and I said, I'm busy this weekend. And you said, how about next weekend? And I was like, okay. And that's where we are now.
That is where we are now. Okay, picture this. We're fading in. The camera pans in. We're fading in on a lovely town. It's called the Land of Ooze. Do you know about the Land of Ooze? In the merry old land of Ooze.
Are you talking about, is this Job?
You got it already. Good for you. Look at you and your Bible knowledge.
Here's the thing. This is going to be a lot of pressure. I'm going to mess this up and it's going to be really bad. Because I'm supposed to preach on Tuesday. And one of the passages in the lectionary is chapter 1 of Job.
Oh boy. Well, we're doing the whole story of Job today, my friend.
Oh man. Oh boy.
All right. Maybe
this could be a series. There's a lot in this.
Maybe we could break it up into 2 episodes. I don't want to cut anything out, and we've already been recording for 42 minutes.
Oh man, yeah, this is definitely going to be multiple episodes.
The Land of Ooze, that's right. Population soon to be less. So the camera pans in on this beautiful Land of Ooze, which coincidentally, I think that's also the name of the land that the Adventure Time people live in. I
think it's just the Land of Oo, like
Oh, that's right. Anyway, so we're in the Land of Ooze. Camera's fading in on our boy Job, and it quickly pans to the whole happy life that Job has made for himself with the help of none other than our boy God. And and there's blueberry pancakes on the table that he made for his wife and his kids upon waking up, and he's just got the perfect life, man. Job is far and away one of the most successful and happy people on the earth at this moment, maybe still to date, except
dun dun
dun dun chapter 2. This boy was living the American dream, blah, blah, blah. He's doing great. And it's important to note that...
The American dream.
Yeah.
The Uzian dream.
The Uzian dream. It's important to note that Job was also God's favorite creation up until this point. Would you refute that in any way?
I would refute that with a modern understanding of how God relates to humanity, etc. But I think that the Jews at that time probably would have thought that because of the whole like consequential theology is like, oh, if he's doing so well, it's because he's such a good person and God loves him so much.
Mm-hmm.
Which like that doesn't hold up with like anyone who thinks hard about anything. So I would refute that with like who I think God is, but I think the people who wrote that probably would have thought that.
Okay,
unless they were trying to prove otherwise. But I'll stop spoiling. Oh
yeah, don't spoil anything yet. So right. Job is fantastic. Anyway, live at large. Even Dr. Dre would be jealous. Barbecues every day. But now we cut to God. God's living in a castle in the clouds. At least that's where I imagine him living. And he's got it pretty good too. If it's blasphemous to speculate about whether or not he also has barbecues every day and drives fancy cars like Dr. Dre, but it's safe to assume that if he wanted them, he could have them. God is just having a fantastic day, chilling with his feet up, and suddenly there's a tapping at God's door. Do you know who is at God's door, Jonathan? Tapping.
Ha-Satan, as it was originally written in Hebrew.
And
which
who
translates to the adversary, which isn't necessarily an entity or individual. It just literally means the adversary. But go ahead.
You.
Yeah, no, go ahead though.
In the New American Version Bible passage that I read to prepare for this episode, Jonathan, it was clearly the devil. It was clearly Satan himself tapping at God's door, and God says, "Who is it?" "It's me, your fallen angel." and God says, "Oh Jesus, Mike Pence, what do you want?" And so Mike Pence shows up on God's doorstep. It's not actually Mike Pence in my head, in the way that I'm seeing this, Mike Pence is playing Satan, like as an actor.
I see in the real world Satan is playing Mike Pence as an actor, but whatever.
Ooh, there's a...
who's gonna hate this episode?
Mike Pence fans?
Yeah, specifically Young Buck, because he likes Mike Pence.
Yeah, that's all
also,
right.
My dad likes Mike Pence, so he's gonna hate this episode too. But that's okay.
I'm sure he's a good guy. He's really committed to not cheating on his wife, and I respect that.
That's true. He's also really committed to hating gay people, so that's great too, right?
Well, you know what? Give and take in a relationship, right?
Yeah, I guess. That sentence doesn't really apply.
It sure doesn't, but the good definitely outweighs the bad definitely outweighs the good there. God, I'm really sounding like a neo-Nazi in this episode, aren't I? I swear I'm not.
You need to be really careful with the rest of this episode.
I sure do. I need to choose words wisely. All right, here we go. Mike Pence, dressed as the devil, shows up on God's doorstep, and he says, "I want to talk. It's been a while." And God's like, "I have nothing more to say to you. I banished you to hell because I didn't want to see you anymore." And Mike Pence, dressed as the devil, says, "Oh, come on. You're bored. I'm bored. Let's play a game. You know that guy Job down there, the one who you supposedly love, and he supposedly loves you back more than all of his possessions and all of his friends and family?" God says, "Supposedly? What the frickin' heck do you mean, supposedly? I know that Job loves me more than all of his material possessions and his family relationships downstairs." And Mike Pence, dressed as Satan, says, "That's right. I'm willing to bet you this shiny nickel that I can turn him. I can make Job hate you, and I can prove that he loves his mortal life more than he loves you." And God says, "Psh, yeah, right. I'd like to see you try." The devil says, "I sure will. Shake on it." And they shake. So that's the ending of Chapter 2. Let's take a quick commercial break here and have a word from our sponsors, and we'll be right back. So for the listeners, Jonathan and I have decided to write sponsorships for each other that we read live on the podcast without ever having looked at before. The reason for this is because, one, it's funny, and two, we don't have sponsors yet, and so... this is just going to be the next best way to do it. Write
in a way. We're advertising our own potential as advertisers.
Oh, that's
here.
Right. I'm going to read it in my 50s. Is it Barker voice, like a carnival barker?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, I'm going to read it in my hello. See, like this is the scoop.
Well, the words don't match that, so that might be weird, but you can go for it.
Okay. Well, I think I'll just do it in my best advertiser-friendly voice.
Cool. I'm gonna judge it. Let's go.
Okay. Like I said, I've never seen this before. I just pulled it up on my computer, and here we go. Hi, my name is Chris Auber, and none of my Oh no, I gotta get through this. I can't even get past the first line. It was like a page long. Okay. All right. Oh God. Okay. Are we ready for attempt 2?
I'm ready. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Okay.
Okay, let's go.
Oh, let me get some water first. Here we go. Yeah. Hi, my name is Chris Auber, and none of my orifices work. Doctors say it's because of my meager body. It's just too weak and sad to constrict any of my muscles. Basically at all. So instead of tightly sealed valves that hold everything intact, all of my orifices are just constantly dripping out whatever is on the inside. That's why whenever you see me, I'm always God damn it. Oh no. That's why whenever you see me, I'm always pooping. I can't do it. Jonathan, I can't do it. I'm not even a third of the way through. Oh my God, I'm crying. There's tears. I can't. None of my orifices work. I'm crying and I can't keep it together. Oh my God. I'm literally weeping. I'm weeping here on the podcast. Okay,
Me too,
just
man.
please
I'm
make sure
like
you're
sweating.
recording because I'm still
laughing so
recording.
hard.
Picking it back up at where we left off.
Okay, perfect.
That's why whenever you see
Oh, man. This is a big challenge right now.
Okay. Okay. That's why whenever you see me, I'm always pooping, peeing, and crying slightly, and my nose is always running a little bit. Now you might be thinking, gross, stay away from me forever. That's entirely unrelatable and highly revolting. But that's where you're half wrong. It may be highly revolting, but it's not entirely unrelatable. While it's true nobody else on Earth has orifices as leaky and incompetent as mine, everybody experiences a little bit of unwanted leakage from somewhere at some point in their life. Just ask Jonathan.
I don't know, man. This sounds really embarrassing for you. You really don't have to read the whole thing.
Exactly. We are all in luck because I've patented the perfect product to protect the planet from my ever-gushing, constantly moist, forever unclean abomination of a body. I'd like to introduce to you the everything. Oh my God. I'd like to introduce to you the everything diaper. Jonathan, would you like to know more about what the everything diaper is?
No.
It's a diaper for everything. I wear little diapers all over my pathetic weeping body because of my medically mediocre and terrible body. And now you can too. Buy today. And now we're back.
Yeah, we're back.
So, Jesus and Mike Pence dressed as Satan have shaken on this deal to see if Satan can turn Job from a lover of the Lord to a terrible boy. Here's what happens. First come the boils. Open sores, pustulating of immaculate design, even more terrible pain beginning to appear all over Job's body parts as well as Job's family. This is surely where the land of ooze gets its name because their body parts were oozing fluids just like mine.
I was waiting for some sort of play off of that. That was well done.
And so Job's like very quickly realizes that like some going down upstairs, but he commits to his love for God and he says, I will not stray from God. I will not stray from my love for the Lord, and I'm not going to let my friends or family do that either, because by this time, like, boils pustulating all over your body quickly turns all of your friends and family on you, and they say stuff like please ditch your God, And please tell that guy to stop it right now. And but God, he holds fast, and he doesn't do anything bad. Job is just praying and saying, whatever I've done, please make it stop. I promise I'm sorry. I love you, Lord, and I'm not gonna stray from you. But his family's really trying to make Job renounce his faith. His family and his friends. Okay, but the boils are temporary, and he's still got his friends and family there with him, which, he could be better and it could be worse. So next week, Satan shows up with the Sabians. These are modern-day Yemenis people, if you're wondering. I was wondering that myself, and now you can picture these as all the Yemenis people you've met in your life. Anyway, they come from the same region. So Sabians show up to kill all of his servants and steal all of Job's livestock. So all of these material possessions that Job has, and he supposedly doesn't love as much as God, suddenly get stolen from him. Mike Pence's work in the flesh. Thousands of camels, thousands of sheep and oxen, gone in the blink of an eye, and he only has a few servants left to inform him of all this atrocity that's happening. So Job leaves his house, and he goes to see for himself what hell that the Satan hath wrought upon his life. And while he's scouting his compound, his entire house, right behind him just suddenly collapses. Boom! Immediately killing everybody inside of his house, all his friends and family, and all his cat that I'm sure he had there, named not Mike Pence. I'm sure all of his friends and family gone. Nothing he could do about it. Just destroyed under the massive weight of his house. And Job wakes up the next morning, and he is almost ready to be. He's certainly shaken, not stirred at this point, and he's definitely ready to be done with all of this. But he cries up to God this famous quote, "Naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I will depart. The Lord giveth, and the Lord taketh away." And that's about where the story ends. Except, Jonathan, I think you know how the story ends. Would you like to give it a little twist here?
I don't know for sure how it ends, but I remember thinking when you said that's how it ends, I was like, wait, no, that's not how it ends, right? Because isn't there a part where he's finally actually mad at God, and then eventually he gets his stuff back? He gets a new wife and kids and a new house, and he's totally cool with it. Yeah. So this is where God, explain to me how Christianity can advocate for this. Because this is clearly a vengeful God who just did the worst possible things to his favorite guy on the planet for a nickel. That part is a little creative expression that I added, but he bet the devil, or the devil bet him, I suppose, that he could turn his favorite person on him, and so God's like, yeah, sure, let's see what happens, and just destroys this man's life completely. Wives, probably more than one. Children, definitely more than one. Oxen, camels, livestock of all sort, houses, his cat named whoever it was, everything is just gone in a second. And just because God is a little bored. This is definitely one of those big passages where a lot of people will use that or derive that sort of logic from it and say oh, this is just reminding us that we don't know how God's mind works, and God's sense of justice is different from our sense of justice. But that's something well, for one thing, that's just ridiculous that you can even just be satisfied with an answer like that. Even if that were true, which I'm not convinced it is entirely true, or at all true maybe, you can't just leave it at that. You can't just say, I don't get it, cool. If you don't get it, keep trying to get it,
Yeah.
The part of being Christian and part of having any faith where you're trying to pursue a relationship with your Creator, or to understand your Creator, or to be more like your Creator, in our case being the Son in the Trinity, Jesus, follower of Christ, Christian, blah blah blah. Part of that is to try and understand who God is and to be like that person. So if we're saying I don't get what God's doing here, then obviously perfect, that should happen, and we should try hard to figure it out.
Because then it's just ignoring the parts of the Bible that you don't like. And that's my biggest pet peeve, when people are kill all the gays, but also I'm going to wear clothes from different material. And
right, exactly.
And not cut my beard and stuff.
Yep. Yeah. So we should do an episode on that too. Just an episode on all the Levitican laws that we
Levitican laws are super interesting because they all, the whole Bible contradicts itself in many places, and so you can't you can't just, follow the Bible blindly, because like you would literally not be following it and following it at the same time.
Exactly. And that's one thing I hate, like, on that same note. People will say, like, the Bible interprets itself. Like, there's no such thing as different interpretations, because the Bible interprets itself and you just gotta read it. And, like, that's ridiculous, because literally it's just impossible. It's a logical fallacy to say that there can't be multiple ways to understand the same text.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a very postmodern approach, is saying that, once the book leaves the author's pen, it's up for anybody else to determine what it means. The author no longer has any agency in telling people what to think.
But yeah.
Yeah. Try to interpret this the best you can, because to me it feels like, I teach kindergarten, and one of my students loves me unconditionally. He, his face lights up when I enter the room. He jumps up on me and he gives me the hug for the longest time. And I'm just thinking, I love that kid back too. Like, he's so cool. I love him a lot. But what if one day I were to just destroy his life, take everything away from him, and just kill both of his parents, whom I'm sure he loves more than he loves me, and take the clothes off his back. He was wearing a cute puppy dog sweater yesterday. What if I just took that puppy dog sweater and ripped it into a million pieces and threw it in the trash? And I took all of his crayons. What if I just ruined his life? But he still loved me. That's Stockholm Syndrome.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely Stockholm Syndrome. But that's one of the things, is because, I haven't read it maybe ever, but I've heard summaries of the whole story, or the whole book, at least multiple times. And, I'm 90% positive there is a point, later in the story where Job is finally, defeated, and is, he has, an argument with God it's, presented as a poem, I think. And
it is. It's
finally,
a long
this
poem.
is ridiculous, and I hate you, and I can't believe you would do this. He does finally bite back and, give up, in a sense. And that's, oh, man, I feel stupid saying this because I don't know the story really at all, but that's my favorite part of the story, theoretically, with my, very distant, superficial knowledge of the story. Because that's the part honestly the only part of it that feels real to me. Even from the beginning, the fact that Job's life is so good and he's not a horrible person, that doesn't feel real to me, because most of the people with lives that great are pretty horrible people. And then you go on and there's an argument between God and Satan, and that doesn't feel real to me, because I don't think God is like that, and I don't even know if Satan exists. But if Satan does exist, that just doesn't seem quite right either. I don't know. There's a lot of unfinished thoughts I have around that whole argument in that scene too. So the whole Job narrative is something that I guess I've kind of avoided putting concrete thought to, because it's just such a of vagueness and disconnection with my understanding of how reality could ever function.
Yeah.
But that one scene, which I'm gonna try to pull that up actually, because if there's anything I can really get, that's gonna be the one scene I'm gonna be able to get something out of.
So there is a part when Job talks with God and asks him, why are you doing this to me? And it's in the form of a long poem. It's many pages, so you probably just couldn't read it right now. And he also has conversations with his friends who are asking him to make this hell stop. And you're right, it does end with God just being okay, thanks for proving thanks for proving your words to me. You can have all your stuff back now. And so he gets a new wife and new kids and new camels and oxen and a new house.
Which is the most hilarious part of the story.
Right, that's some sort of what's the word? Retribution? Is that the right word? That's
I think
some
retribution
sort of...
is a bad thing. It's punishment.
Oh, okay.
Recompense, maybe?
Reparations, maybe?
Recompensation? Yeah, that sounds right.
So, as if getting a new wife and kids is some sort of reparations for, the hell that God allowed Satan to wreak upon Job's life.
And it's just messed up that it's it's fine that all those actual people with their own lives and stories died.
Yeah, what about the servants?
Job was the adult male in the story, so that's what's important.
Right.
Servants don't matter, women don't matter, children don't matter. The
cat
rich man who
matter.
Owned all of them is what matters. Yeah, the cat doesn't matter. Ugh.
Definitely a tough story to get through. Definitely a tough story to read and still be I'm a proud Christian, I think.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. I think for years now I've not been a proud Christian. I've still been a Christian, but it's just not been a matter of pride. I think it was, remember when what's the name, the Texas guy, Rick Perry, I think. Remember when he came up with that ad when he was running for president, and he was I'm proud to say I'm a Christian, but it doesn't take a lot to see that the gays shouldn't be in the army, so I'm gonna fix this nation. And that's literally like his whole thing. He said it a little bit less blatantly than that, but like really not much more less blatantly. Honestly, it was just like more wordy than that.
I don't remember that.
Like, oh yeah, that was like, I mean, I guess that must have been like, what was he, 2008 or 2012 was when he ran? I think it was 12.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Gosh, yeah.
But anyway, like, it was when I saw that, I was like, oh no, I don't think I'm proud to be a Christian anymore. And because like it's like being proud to be like white or being proud to be an American. Like if you come from this like oh man, people are not gonna like that I just said any of that. But like if you come from this position where it's like
there's a large difference between being proud to be white and proud to be an American. There's a whole song about being proud to be an American.
But there's like it's so being proud to be white or being proud to be an American is almost just like it's not real pride. It's just ignoring other people's problems in a sense. And it's just like it's almost gratitude more than it is pride. It's like I'm so glad my life has been easy in a sense.
I don't think that that's the case, at least in the American sense. I've only recently become proud to be an American just because like it's so easy when you like travel to another country or something to just like bash America, because America is such low-hanging fruit, especially now for like making fun of stuff. But I love the country that I'm from, and I guess I'm thankful for the opportunities that it's given me.
Yeah.
But I'm also proud to be from that place. Like now I used to like not tell people I was an American. Like when we studied abroad in Germany, I went to like Holland for a few days. I would like only speak German and just not tell people that I wasn't German. But now like I'll very proudly like tell somebody that I'm an American if they ask.
Yeah, I guess that's just for me. It's different. Like I don't mind being. I'm not like ashamed to be an American. I'm not ashamed to be white. I'm not ashamed to be Christian. But I am. I don't know. I'm definitely not proud of any of those things. For one thing, like I didn't really do any of those things, especially coming from a Presbyterian perspective. Like the idea of predestination. I don't even know if I agree with predestination, but like my tradition certainly purports to believe in it. And so, you know, like none of these things were things that I've like claimed or gained or earned. So like I don't know how I even could feel proud of it per se. But then like even if I had earned it, I don't know if it's this like really pure and perfect thing, because all of those things are so corrupt and hypocritical and like messed up. Like I can't attach pride to them personally. Like I'm still glad to be an American, and I do love this country. Like I agree with you there. Like when I'm here, there's like certain things that I can experience that I can't experience elsewhere. And I love the diversity and the ideals that went into this country, even if none of them are acknowledged anymore. So like I love America, and I love my faith when it's at its purest. Like I love all these things at the purest form, and I'm glad to be involved with them.
But that purest form doesn't exist. That purest form doesn't really exist because all of this is a human construct. And humans are by nature imperfect, thanks to those apple boys and girls who ate the fruit in episode 1, and so all of those things are imperfect. So to think that you have to agree with every part of something to be that thing, or to be proud to be that thing, is incorrect. I think. Like obviously, I don't agree with every part of America. I promise I'm not a neo-Nazi, but
yeah, man, you've been.
But I'm still proud to be an American. And you say you don't agree or you don't believe maybe every part of Presbyterianism, but I would say that you should still find reason to be proud to be Christian.
I don't know. I think I just disagree. I think for me, pride like needs something stronger than that. If for me to be proud of something, I think I need to contribute to it being a great thing, and I need to have that symbiotic thing where it contributes to me being a great thing. And I don't know, for as long as like, and part of it, I guess, maybe it's a little bit of like internal versus like awareness of the external, because there's also, I can't not consider the fact that like when people think of Christians, they don't think of like loving your neighbor, they think of hating gay people, you know? And so that's something like, until like, there's a reason people think that thing. It's not just because like they haven't understood it. Like they haven't understood it because it's been presented by people who purport to be that incorrectly.
Yeah.
So what?
It's not you know, the louder voice is the one who says what a group stands for, and that's unfortunately the case.
Exactly. And so, like, I'm proud of what I believe, I guess, in a sense, and I'm proud of who I am in a sense, but on the grander scheme of things, I don't think I can say that I'm proud of those things or feel that I'm proud of those things until they become things that are perceived for what I actually appreciate about them.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I like that. I like that you're proud to be you. I like that you're proud to be you, because I guess that more concretely defines me. Like, now, I wasn't always proud to be me, but like now I definitely am, and and I guess part of that pride stems from being an American and being, whatever groups I'm a part of. Right.
Yeah, it's weird. The whole intersectionality of like each person's identities, like it's inseparable from who everyone is because of the whole like nurture versus nature thing. But there's also nurture, and there's also those things that each of those institutions and cultures are outside of the individual as well.
So how does this relate
this
to
really
Job
has
again?
been a good episode so far.
How does this
yeah,
relate
I don't
to
know
Job
how this
again?
relates to Job.
We got on this train of thought because you were saying it. I was saying it might make it hard to be proud to be a Christian after reading this story.
Yeah, and then wow, that was a big tangent. But yeah, I agree. It does make it hard to be proud to be a Christian. All that to say, you're absolutely right. Yeah, and I think honestly, I don't have any answers for this story. Although I guess I need to have something by Tuesday, so I'm glad that this has like kickstarted me back in the right direction. But I will say, the one time that someone presented or preached or whatever about Job, and I felt some sort of satisfaction or some sort of truth from it, was it was when I think it was in episode 7 where we talk about the trans live and religious context seminars that I went to. It was the Baptist woman, the transgender Baptist woman, who, like, that's still such an amazing juxtaposition. Every time I say that out loud, I'm happy, because you don't associate women preachers with Baptist theology, and you don't associate appreciation for the LGBT community with Baptist theology either. So it's cool to know that there's this shining emblem of all of that at once.
Yeah.
But
definitely.
anyway, Allison Robinson was her name, and she talked for a long time about her path to becoming who she is. She was like in the military. She did I think she guided like Patriot missiles or something.
She was in the military too?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. She's an incredible person.
Wow.
She's like, and that was before her transition as well, though. So she's become like all these different things, and it's amazing. But yeah, I think it was like after she was discharged or whatever. I don't remember how that part of her life ended exactly, but I think she was struggling with her call to ministry, and the fact that she was beginning to realize that she was a woman, and struggling with all these conflicting ideas of like her past and the culture of the church and her own idea of herself and her own idea of God. And it was like this really tumultuous moment for her. And she mentioned that the part in Job that I was trying to get at, that I don't remember how it goes, but he says it's a really long poem. The part where he says like, I wish I had never been born, or he curses the day he was born or something like that, I think is one of the big lines from it. And there's like a lot of interpretations that sort of go with like sort of inherent with that, and with the rest of the poem he's cursing God, and just like stuck in the frustration and the grief of all of that. And somehow, this is the great like cool part that doesn't make any sense, and is also not great and not cool because it doesn't make any sense. But Allison was talking about how like in that moment where she was just like out in Texas somewhere, and she was feeling all these things, that part from Job's story stuck out to her. And it's not like, that's not inspiring at all. That's not an encouraging moment in scripture.
No, that's
whatsoever.
Like, that's like the lowest trough of Job's life, when he's like the one thing that he loves more than anything, which is God. He's like, what the freaking hell are you doing to me?
Yeah, exactly. But Allison said like that somehow just like her connection in that moment with what she read in Job just sort of brought her back in a sense, where there's just something about the truth of it, the truth of grief and the truth of frustration and the truth of not understanding God and the truth of God seeming full of, and the truth of misery and the truth of anguish and the truth of human suffering, that like for some reason didn't just put her further into despair, and just like the honesty of that was something powerful for her. And so that's the only time someone's spoken on Job where I was like, that's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I still don't even get it. Like, at least I'm like, that's kind of cool, but I still don't even really get it. So, I don't know.
Well, maybe, yeah, like, you don't have to know the answers. That's kind of the whole point of this podcast. It's just been convenient so far that, like, you've actually had pretty good explanations for everything. But that's a pretty good explanation. That's a pretty good explanation of, like, why nobody can really make sense of this one. Because, like, it's just so counter to everything that we want the Bible to be. It's not really inspiring, except in your one friend's case. I don't find it particularly inspiring. I'm sure many others agree. And it's just a weird story.
Yeah. We should definitely do a part 2 to this one, though, because I'm gonna crack this one open, and I'm gonna get back to you.
Tell me how your Tuesday speech goes, and we'll try this one again.
Yeah, sounds good, man. Man, this is so because like every Southern episode where you brought in the story, you're like, I'm gonna get him with this one, and then you're like, wow, I can't believe I didn't get you. That's so cool. You got me, man.
I guess I did, but like I said, that's the whole point of this podcast. It's cool to like admit that we don't know, and
exactly.
Well, now we're gonna go like look it up and see like who does know the answer to this.
Yeah, and I guarantee we'll get responses from different like people in seminaries and pastors and lay people who will all say like, oh, it's this, and I'll probably disagree with most of them, but it'll be cool to have that conversation going. Yeah,
but it's like you said when we were talking about literature, is that like there's many answers, like there's many ways to interpret it, and no one person is more right than another.
Mm-hmm. Well said.
Cool. Well, do you want to call it here? It's already been a long episode. You're gonna have a hell of an editing job.
125. We've had worse. I can handle that.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. Yeah, although I'm really busy. I mean, I've got to preach on Tuesday, so this is going to be a busy week anyway. But we're not even going to drop this episode for like 3 or 4 weeks, so.
Yeah, true.
Good. Yeah.
Cool.
So if we got anything wrong, or if you want to contact us with any questions, suggestions, or corrections, it is hellifweknowpodcast@gmail.com, at hellifweknow on Twitter and Instagram, and hellifweknow on Facebook. Yep. Anything else, Chris?
Find us there, and we really hope you enjoyed today's episode. Maybe if you also have an advertisement that you would like to write for us and we read live on the show, that would be cool too, because Jonathan and I have good ideas, but it might be cool to get other people's ideas too. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like anything you want to send us, we're happy to have it. Yeah. Good looking out, Chris. I like that idea. See you next time. Yeah, see you next time. But okay.